everyone, my name is Miss Choate and I'm going to be teaching you how to make a cherry blossom branch. Now, if you're familiar and you've seen some of my crafts before on the Winfield Public Library's page, or maybe even my own page, Art with Miss Choate, then you might be familiar with what we do. So today, our project is going to be a little bit different. You can go to the Winfield Public Library and pick up a little packet with the supplies you're going to need for today. Now, I go through and I will tell you, if you don't have these supplies or you're not a patron of the Winfield Public Library, you don't live close enough, that's okay. I'll give you ideas of what you can use instead of the supplies that are in the packet. So just to go over them real quick, you're going to use a reusable or a disposable chopstick, or you can use a popsicle stick or even a branch from outside. You're going to use a long skinny piece of paper, and you're going to use a piece of yarn or string. So with that in mind, let's go grab our supplies and get started. So for this cherry blossom tree project, you're going to need a few things. Now, if you don't have all these supplies, that's okay. If you live by the Winfield Public Library or a patron of the Winfield Public Library, remember you can go pick up your packet. And that will include some Q-tips, a disposable chopstick. I'm using one of my nice ones, but I can always take it out later. A piece of string to hang our pretend scroll from, and then some paint. Now, if you don't have paint, you can use markers or crayons for this project. There will be paint in the kit, and we'll also need a little bit of glue. And if you don't have glue, tape works. Anything like that will be just fine. And if you don't have a disposable chopstick, you can use a tree branch, you can use a popsicle stick, anything that is, long enough to put the paper on. And don't forget the piece of paper. That will be a part of your kit, but if you don't have one at home, you want one that's long and skinny. So not a normal piece of paper. If you can tape some together or glue some together, I'm going to be using this legal size piece of paper, and I'm going to cut it in half so it's nice, long, and skinny. Okay, so those are the supplies we're going to need today, and let's get started. So I like to put my paint into a disposable cup so I don't have to worry about cleaning it up, but sometimes I still like to rinse them out and reuse my disposable. So my paint was a little bit on the old side, so you can see it was a little bit runny, so I can go ahead and mix up either with a brush or even one of my Q-tips. If you don't have Q-tips at home and you didn't get the packet from the library, you can also use your finger to do this. Like, you can kind of make a finger painting, or if you have a paintbrush. The first thing we're going to do, we are going to put our branch on the page. Now you can do this with brown, black, or really any color you want your branch to be. I'm doing a kind of gold color, like a little bronze, because I think it's going to be really pretty. And I'm just keeping it really organic. Organic means that there's no geometric shapes. I'm keeping it really loose, and I'm just letting my hand move back and forth as it comes across the page. Yours does not have to look exactly like mine. Just keep going, work your way across your page. And we're going to keep going until you want to stop. You don't have to go all the way from one end to the other. You could have the beginning of it be a little bit thicker, and it gets thinner as it goes up. And right off these little parts, that's where we're going to have those cherry blossoms. Think about how you're setting up your page. You should have it come off in some areas, like have the branch where you can't see the rest of it. Think about how you're setting it up. Once you're happy with it, then we're going to move on to the blossoms. So I think I'm happy with my branch, and now I'm ready to move on. Now, when we're doing our pink and white blossoms, pink is made up with red and white. So we can go ahead and we can mix those on our page or on our palette, meaning I can pick up a little bit of red, put it here on the side, pick up a little bit of white, and blend it together. And we can do a bunch of different blends right here on the side before we even start to really put our flowers down. So here I have a few. You can, if depending on how many Q-tips you have, you can hold them together and do it at the same time. Or if you don't have enough, don't worry. We can do them one at a time. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna hold them together for some to show you. And we're just gonna stamp them around. And just like we did the branch, try not to do the same thing too much. Don't do too much of the same color. Go back, dip in, change up your color, change up your pick or your little Q-tip. And I'm just going around. You can have some not even on the branch because they're falling down. You can have one in your hand. You can do two at the same time. Don't be afraid to play with your colors. And you can also go on top of ones you already put down. So I'm putting my white right there on top of some of my red. And I'm just going around. And you can do as many or as few as you want. Because if it's later in the season, there would be less. If it's earlier, there would be more. And it's okay if your Q-tip starts to look a little messy. Mine is. That's okay. You might find out that you need a bigger cup so you can have more options, more blending. And just really have fun with it. There we go. And now I am happy with my cherry blossoms. At this point, it's up to you. You could wait for it to dry and then go in with a colored pencil and add in a background, or you could take a crayon, a marker, do something in the background. I like how mine looks with the simplicity. And now we're going to go ahead with our next step, which is adding our top of our scroll. So you need to decide which one is your top and which one's your bottom. So if I want that branch to be where my scroll, where it hangs from, or do I want it to go the other way? So I want you to think about it before you do it. I want the branch to be looking down. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach it this way. So now what we're going to do, you can either put a little bit of glue back there, and you might need to wait for this to dry before we do that, or you can use tape. So here we go. I added a little bit of glue to the back, and you're just going to squeeze it down. If it's wet glue, you might have to wait a little bit. If it's tape, that'll be super easy. And here we go. I have my scroll added to my chopstick, and now we're just going to simply tie on our string or our yarn. Doesn't have to be a fancy tie, because you can always cut away the extra or turn it into a bow. Just going to loop it around there and give it one more for security so it doesn't come off. And now putting this on the other side. Wrapping it around once, and now one more time making it a knot. So there we go, we can hang it up. And there is our finished scroll. So I hope you had fun making your cherry blossom scroll. And I love how it comes down my page. I can hang it up in my house. I think it's so pretty. I might even make a few of these to put up on the wall. You can even play with the different types of paper, the different types of paint, so many different options you can do. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give this video a thumbs up. Follow the Winfield Public Library for more crafts and rhyme time and so many awesome programs. And if you didn't know it already, go to the Winfield Public Library's Facebook page, post a photo, and maybe they'll share your photo. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye. Hope to see you next time.